Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into a thrilling survival movie that will leave you breathless, where the ocean disappears, monsters rise, and one family must fight to stay alive. Get ready for The Origin Unknown, 2025. So grab your popcorn, hit the subscribe button, and let's begin this epic story. In the middle of the Caribbean Sea, a family is enjoying their vacation on a yacht. The mother, Julia, dives into the water for a swim. While relaxing, she suddenly feels something strange around her, but since she sees nothing, she assumes it's her imagination. Moments later, that same odd sensation returns. Still seeing nothing, she panics and starts swimming back toward the yacht. Suddenly, something grabs her leg and pulls her underwater. Julia screams for help, but her daughter Cassie, wearing headphones and listening to music, can't hear her. Her husband Tom and son Ben are busy fishing. Julia struggles to stay afloat, but she's choking on water. After a while, Tom realizes he hasn't seen Julia for some time. He searches the yacht, spots her in danger, calls the kids, and dives in to rescue her. He reaches her just in time and swims back to the yacht with her. The kids help pull them both up. Julia insists that it was probably just the waves, though she's clearly shaken. That night, the family celebrates Ben's birthday. Cassie takes a video call from her boyfriend, who shows her that huge dark clouds are forming over the city. Suddenly, the call freezes. Cassie goes inside to tell everyone, but Tom dismisses it, saying it's probably bad reception. Then, the family hears a strange sound. They step outside and see a pod of whales passing by. Tom explains that whales usually follow Earth's magnetic field, but when storms occur, they lose direction. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently, and Ben falls. Concerned, Tom dives into the water to check for damage. When he surfaces, his shoulder is badly cut. Julia stitches the wound while Tom explains. Massive was moving behind him underwater, but when he turned, he got cut by the propeller. He insists whatever it was huge. They discover the yacht is damaged, so Julia tries to call for help via radio while Cassie checks for a phone signal. Nothing works. Cassie suddenly screams when she sees a strange creature outside, but it turns out to be Ben playing a prank with a mask. Soon, the yacht completely shuts down and gets stranded in the middle of the sea. Julia hears a faint voice on the radio but can't understand it. Tom tells the family they only have enough food and water for 4 days and must wait for a fishing boat to pass by. Suddenly, something appears on the radar, followed by a strange rumbling sound. The family rushes outside and sees several fiery objects falling from the sky. When one lands near them, Tom tries to move the yacht, but another one crashes close by. They realize these are not meteors, they're satellites falling from orbit. Smoke begins rising from the yacht's engine. It's broken. Strong winds begin to blow, and the family hides inside without noticing that the compass is spinning uncontrollably. The yacht starts shaking violently. Ben falls again and gets hurt. The waves grow stronger. Tom grabs life jackets, but the power goes out. He resets the power box, restoring the lights. Julia's nose starts bleeding, and Cassie begins vomiting. A high-pitched noise fills the air, and the storm intensifies. Julia tries to close the hatches, but one blows open. Tom lights a flare, and everything goes dark. The next morning, the family wakes up in shock. They've survived, but the yacht is half destroyed. They step outside and are horrified to see the ocean has disappeared. The yacht is now stranded on dry land. Cassie tries to find a signal but gets nothing. Ben plays with dead crabs. Tom checks the compass and realizes it's reversed, something that last happened 700,000 years ago. Cassie panics, thinking her boyfriend is dead. Julia comforts her, but Cassie pushes her away and hides. Tom manages to contact someone on the radio, a submarine captain named Now. His submarine is also stuck on land. He confirms that Earth's magnetic poles have reversed, causing the oceans to retreat and the continents to flood. He warns them that the poles will soon reverse again, and the sea will return violently within a week. He says he has space for only 3 people and offers to save the children. Julia and Tom beg him to save their kids. He gives them his coordinates. Tom calculates it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. The next morning, while the family is packing, Tom spots movement nearby, a limping man holding a harpoon, accompanied by a barking dog. Tom approaches and gives him water, but the man speaks an unknown language. Suddenly, the man smashes the bottle on Tom's head and kicks him. Julia screams and runs, but the man drives his harpoon into Tom's stomach, then slits his throat. Julia flees, wounded in the shoulder by the man's harpoon. She runs into the yacht and tells the kids to hide. Cassie and Ben hide under the sofa while Julia hides in the bathroom with a knife. The man breaks in, steals some food, and searches the yacht. Julia sneaks out through a small vent, but the man's dog spots her and attacks. She stabs the dog to death, and the furious man charges after her. He finds her climbing back through a broken window, punches her, and throws her down. He presses her wrist with his foot, grabs her by the hair, and strangles her on the sofa. The kids witness everything. Cassie fires the flare gun at the man, setting him on fire. Flames spread, and the kids run outside. Julia grabs the map and backpack, kicks the man away, and escapes with her children. They mourn Tom together, saying goodbye through tears, but the burned man emerges again. They run, and moments later, the yacht explodes. After traveling for a while, they rest near a small waterfall. Cassie thinks the man found them because of the balloons Ben tied earlier. Ben blames himself, but Julia reassures him. They keep moving, spotting dead sea animals and garbage once buried under the ocean. Ben grows weak from dehydration. When Julia checks their water, she realizes it's nearly empty. Cassie forgot to tighten the cap. Furious, Julia yells that her carelessness wasted their only chance. Cassie snaps back, saying it doesn't matter since they'll die anyway. The family argues but continues on. They find a crashed airplane and decide to spend the night inside. Julia finds a photo of their family in Tom's jacket and breaks down. Cassie asks how her parents fell in love. Julia smiles and says Tom was her patient in the hospital. One day, he gave her flowers and a poem to confess his love. Later that night, Cassie goes outside, but the madman attacks her. Julia appears just in time and stabs him repeatedly until he dies. Cassie hugs her mother in relief. The next morning, crabs crawl over the man's corpse, his body covered in bite marks, proving deadly creatures are nearby. As the family walks away, crabs crawl out of his mouth. A few hours later, Ben drinks from a puddle, but Julia stops him. The heat grows unbearable, and Ben becomes dizzy. They build a small shelter using old chairs and spend the night. Julia burns her wound shut with Tom's lighter. The next day, a massive swarm of crabs attacks. The family runs and finds a cargo ship. 3 crew members are alive. One woman tries to help them, but the other 2 men refuse and lock themselves inside. The crabs swarm, killing the men and flooding the deck. Julia's leg is bitten, but the kids pull her up in time. She faints. When Julia wakes, she's alone in a sandstorm. She screams for her kids, finds a weapon, and searches desperately. Cassie finally returns, saying she and Ben couldn't find help. They regroup and discover a container with water bottles, a radio, and a gun. Julia contacts the submarine again. Now tells her the arthropods, giant crabs, have gone insane due to oxygen exposure, and the ocean will return sooner than expected, in just a few hours. He fires a flare to guide them. The family follows the signal and finally sees the submarine, but it's across a rocky ridge. As they climb, rocks begin to fall in a violent landslide. Julia pushes her kids to safety, but a wall of rocks separates them. She tells them to go on without her. Cassie refuses but eventually agrees after Julia promises to follow. The kids reach the submarine, but the captain is badly injured. He tells them to take the sub and save themselves. Cassie runs back for her mother, who is fighting off another crab swarm. Cassie helps pull her up over the wall, and they both run toward the submarine as Ben fires to distract the creatures. Julia keeps shooting until the ammo runs out. They lock themselves inside, watching the crabs swarm outside. Suddenly, the ocean rushes back. The family straps in and holds hands as the submarine is tossed violently by the waves. Julia has visions of their journey, and Cassie vomits from the pressure. Finally, the noise fades. They wake up, alive. When they open the hatch, they see the submarine stranded in a ruined city, proof that humanity might have a chance to start again. And that's where the movie ends. Speech Balloon, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more amazing stories. Thanks for watching.